Good day, lords and ladies, and welcome back to Rimworld Medieval Underworld. Now, unfortunately, the mod list is becoming more and more unstable. As you can see here, as the 1.6 version of the game progresses, a lot of mods are being either forked or pulled out. Well, pulled out and then having to be forked back in by other modders, and I am getting a bit concerned by that. I want to continue playing this series, but at the same time, I am concerned that if I don't end this series on my own terms, then something big will break and we won't get a conclusion at all. So I'm sort of at a bit of a crossroads here. So I'm just going to break down my reasoning, because you guys have all been watching this series and have enjoyed it from what I can tell. And I feel like a responsibility to continue playing, but at the same time I want to continue to have good content for you to watch. And having to constantly patch this mod list because it's like this. Let's just be clear: this isn't even something the game added. This is just basic hay. This is a basic in-game item breaking. So I find myself at a bit of a crossroads. Because in the past I have had mod lists where, for lack of better words, the game has been like a new DLC has come out or something and it's broken and we've had to leave the game on a cliffhanger. And I don't really want to do that, to be honest. I'd rather finish this campaign on our own terms. Like Redis here giving birth, and we've got a nice colony going, and we're fairly well set up with our little goblins here on the planet. So I'd rather let the series reach a natural stopping point than try and force it onwards, because to be honest, ooh, that is a lot of children. Oh boy. That is a lot of children. Yeesh. Okay. Tons of children. Yep. Name, let's call Lord Falcon. The first one's raining. Name Grey Sky, maybe, yeah. Grey Sky. And the final one, what are they suggesting? Like, let's say Night Hair. Okay. No, like, okay. Yeah, night. But now we've got an absolute ton of goblins. Okay. But we've got Next Generation, which is fantastic. Take the kids to safety, please. But yeah, like, I have justifiable worries, which is that the longer this mod, like 1.5 can't last forever. if nothing else, because the amount of mods that I have active will mean that at some point something is going to break. And something big will break. When it does break, we won't have a series anymore. Which I don't really want. I'd rather, like I said, finish the game on my own terms, or at least finish the campaign on my own terms, to where we have what feels like a nice natural stopping off point. And like I said, I learned a lot from this campaign, like this series, I should say. I learned a lot from which mods to use, like certain mod interactions. So there's a lot of mods that I've never used, like the line of sight mod and the combat death blow mod, and a whole bunch of other mods. I think that was part of my problem, to be honest, was I made this mod list too big. Like, I think it's 400 plus mods in it. I can't remember now the amount. And like I said, it takes me like 45 minutes to load the game up. And there was there's long pauses and delays when some events start happening. It's not. I didn't optimize this mod list particularly well. So I have concerns, and I am happy to say that most of my concerns were unfounded. A lot of things did work well. It was just simply I should have been more practical with how I grew up. Every C7 has experienced a growth moment. While optimistic about the future, you see some little personal development, as feeling sick while finding hidden treasure. So, let's see. So enough to do all this. We can have lush, neat, gifted. Ooh, naturally gifted child. Yep. Rot, the hobgoblin, is just naturally gifted in a lot of things. Crafting is very good in. Animal handling is very good in. Persuasion. Gifted child. But this is the thing, which is that I learnt a lot doing this series. Like, what mods I liked, what mods I didn't like. How to probably be a bit more... Okay, we're getting raided. Where? Oh, so they're turning up. Okay, they're turning up and running straight into the insects, who will then just massacre them. Yeah. Using fire magic of some description by the looks of it. Now you're going to go and kill him. Yeah. But like, this is the thing, which is that I take this as like a positive thing in some ways, because we learnt a lot doing this. Okay, that's all going to burn down to the ground now as well, I take it. Okay, fantastic. Like, we learnt a lot from this. We learnt what mods did, like how they interacted with each other, what mods I liked, what mods I didn't like. And just like a whole host of stuff. That's burning to the ground. Yeah, the hive is totally just going to disappear, isn't it? Is it? I don't know. I don't think the hive can burn. Interesting stuff. But yeah, we learnt a lot. We learnt a lot of how all this stuff works, like different creatures, like biomass caves, just so much stuff. I learnt so much stuff while doing this mod series. Yeah, let's get it burned to the ground and we'll have even less insects, which in some ways is nice because it means we have more access to the cave network and getting off the map. But this is like, I'm not going to lie and say, oh, I am disappointed that we haven't been able to take it further, and that's what it was. Greater Flame Firebow. Like, I'm just going to say, oh, I'm happy with how it ended. Like, I'm not happy with how it ended per se. Like, I'm sad that we can't have taken this further than I wanted to. But to be honest, if I'd known that 1.6 was around the corner, I would have held off, or at least made a much cut down version of what I did. I would have probably done a much more cut down version than what I did, so that we didn't run into this problem with having a massive mod pack, which, to be honest, is starting to really suffer. Okay, so that's burnt down, so all those insects are now going to just wander off. That's going to really suffer now from sort of mods being updated and made obsolete and that kind of thing. And it's a shame, because like I had a lot of fun, but at the same time I learned a lot. And to be honest, 1.6 has a lot of advantages in it for me as a content creator. Predominantly, its main benefit is that a lot of mods, like a lot of what you call like essential quality of life mods, a lot of those are now built in as standard. Stuff like camping out on the world map, executing down pawns, like a whole host of things that, like armor racks and just like a bunch of things that I had to put mods into this mod list for. Now I don't have to. So it means that like next time I make a mod list, so who will they fight? Who attacks these guys? Are they just standard humans? Yeah, just baseline humans. Like next time I do a series like this, I can go, oh, okay, I can have like 25% less mods, because that's already being handled. And it's just nice. It's just nice to have that. It also means that it's a lot less work for me. But that being said, let us think about how we can get our goblins to a nice little stopping off point. Personally, I am actually fairly happy with how they are now. We have a good little colony ongoing. We're set up well. We have a good little farm going. Our children are being raised to like they're all 7, 8 now, except for the ones that have just been born. So they're all pulling their weight around the colony. Rot can help out doing more stuff as well, which is fantastic. Yeah, help with that. You're good at that. Help with that. Yeah, I mean, like, we have a lot of stuff going on, and it's nice to see. Like, for now, we can, for example, say we could put... How much would we got over here? We got enough. Okay, so we could say... get that set up. Reinstall that there. And so we can have like a prison set up. We can move the prisoners over to here. I mean, let's just be clear, like, this isn't like game breaking for me, this bit here. It's just if it wasn't a sign that the game itself was starting to struggle, then I probably would just ignore it and keep going. But it's happening more and more. and I don't. My concern is I really don't want to have. I really don't want to have the mod list break, and then we don't get a nice resolution, and we don't get like closure on the colony. I mean, like, will that be disappointing to people? Yeah, I think it will be, and I'm sorry if you are disappointed that we can't see it going forward. But I look at it as a positive thing. We have a established colony here. Like, it's got like multiple generations. Like, we've got the first generation, we've got the second generation, we've got the third generation. Like, we've got transport animals, we've got pack animals, we've got food supplies. And I can look at this and go like, okay, this is what we did in the last campaign with these goblins. And next time we do this, next time like we attempt this, we can say, okay, how can I want to make this better? Which I think is what's the important thing. See, we can't do a party. No, we can't do any sort of celebration thing, which is a bit of a shame. I'd have liked to have a celebration before we ended the series. We could do a tribal gathering. That could be cool. Do like one more tribal gathering before the end. But yeah, like at this point, I am going to end it on our own terms. As much as it will probably disappoint people, I just don't want to have the mod list break beyond the point of no return. And like I've previously mentioned just earlier about how 1.6 adds a lot, it does. I think it adds a lot. I know that people said, oh, Odyssey is predominantly late game. And yes, from the outside, I would agree. Like, if you look at what Odyssey adds... Okay, Hedgehog, run for the gate, my friend. You might be able to make it. I'd rather not lose anyone. Run, Hedgehog. Okay. Okay. So now, yeah. We got to this stage where we are the easiest thing to eat on the map. Which is always a bit worrisome. Fortunately, the cave bats won't come for us, they'll come for something else. This is the thing. So just keeping an eye on maybe no one went outside and did anything stupid. But yeah, this is the thing. Odyssey, if you look at it from the outside, Odyssey appears to be very much a... it appears to be very much a late game DLC, but it's not. So the whole spaceship side of things may appear that way, but that is more, in my opinion, more a bonus. You think of it more like it's an exploration piece of DLC. Like, it adds a lot of exploration to the world, a lot more unique locations, a lot more unique biomes. Places of interest, events, missions. Like you can pick missions up now from caravans just by talking to people. All these things that just add so much more life to the world and make nomadic gameplay a lot more fun. Now, oh, come on, I mean, like, there are other people with childcare turned on, right? Yeah, everyone's got childcare turned on. You've got to get this done, which will probably trigger a raid. Well, it's been a while since we had any actual research. What I think I will do, just for fun, let's get everyone to a tribal gathering. Everyone's here for a big tribal gathering, which is lovely. Besides the infants. But yeah. I know this is like unfair to do this, but it's just not unfair, but it seems unfair. Especially since for those of you who've been watching the series, I did a lot of back logging of video recordings. So that this is coming out around the time that 1.6 was released, to like just a few weeks after, and it's caused a lot of issues, and I'm constantly having to try and sort of keep the mod list going, which is one part of why I'm bringing this series to an end. The other part is the fact that 1.6 just takes out so many mods I no longer need. It just adds so much to the base game that makes a lot of mods no longer relevant. So I just want to try and have a bit of a more easy time, because to be honest, this has become a bit difficult to keep going. I'm concerned, like I said, that the game is going to break. Odyssey adds a lot of stuff. Like, the thing with Odyssey is, like, if Odyssey had come out before I had released this, I would have played this series very differently. I would have probably made us a much more nomadic faction, because the nomadic stuff that Odyssey adds is really interesting. Just for, like, even if you just strip away all the meteorites and starships and all that kind of thing, like, the base content it adds for just nomad play makes it so much more interesting. Which is one of the reasons I didn't pick up nomad in this for the goblins, because in 1.5, playing a nomad, it was fine, but there wasn't a lot of reasons to do it. There wasn't a lot of reasons to go out into the world and explore. But with 1.6, you're going to have so much more modding options. Like I can see the potential for anyone who's doing stuff like medieval playthroughs to modify the new location so that it's more technologically aligned with the medieval and tribal settings. So it's like maybe you have like ruined castles or abandoned forts or that kind of thing. Ooh, fantastic! We've got a lot of lovely research. Encouraging. Lovely. So I look upon this in sort of two ways. Partly I am sad that we're having to end it like this. Like, before we can have like the massive big adventures and all that kind of thing. The things that I wanted to do, like once we got like settled with our tribe, like we were going to go out into the world and like, raid people and do all that kind of stuff. Yes. Okay, we got agricultural trader wanders in. Fantastic. Very worried about that megabat. If it's going to try and eat a goblin if I send a goblin out. But yeah, like, I have concerns, and on the other side, it's like I have regrets. Like, yes, I wish I could have gone and done this, and yeah. See, there's the bat coming in. So that, yeah, they're coming in to kill it. And they kill the bat. Fantastic. So we can actually get outside now. But yeah, like, so I've been rambling for this for a bit. I don't mean to. It's like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place, really, which is that I could continue the series, but it would constantly, it would start to run into more and more problems. It would start to be harder and harder and harder for me to keep the series going, which I really don't want that to be the case, to be honest. Like, I want us to end on a good note, on a high point where we can go, yeah, like, our colony is like at this really incredible place. On the flip side, there's a lot of stuff that 1.6 adds, which just makes quality of life easy. I know I'm probably repeating myself at this stage, which is a bit of a pain. I don't mean to do so if that's the case. Growth age. But I just look at this as like a learning experience. I learned what mods did, where we went with them, all that kind of thing, like what they interact well with, which they don't interact well with, which mods to be more careful of in the future. And I, to be honest, I think we did get a lot done with bones. We did get a lot done with our little group of goblins at the people of the caves. Like, they had an incredible story. They travelled. They set up a new home. They had like generations of children. All that kind of thing. Like, why are you? Yeah, prioritize feeding the child. Yeah. It is just how it is. I mean, so I've been sort of going around in circles. But to tell it simply, it is, first part, like I said previously, I'm worried that the mod list is going to break and we won't be able to get a nice resolution for our people, which is, I think, they well and truly deserve. Secondly, 1.6 makes a lot of mods that I have installed no longer needed, which would have, to be honest, saved me a lot of work and made because this is a bloated mod list, to be honest, would have made it a lot simpler. I mean, but that being said, I've learnt a lot. Like, we've all had fun. Our people like my viewers, my subscribers who have viewed this, I've hoped you enjoyed it. It's a nice little tale. Bo's good trader. No one ever turns up, and then when you do need them, it's like 50,000 at once. Okay. You can dismiss him. But yeah. But I just think this is like a good, natural stopping point where we currently are. Like we've got ourselves a little base camp, like a little settlement here. We've well established our first generation of children are already growing rapidly for goblins. They are getting there relatively nicely. They're all developing into their own characters. But the thing is that... Okay, so I just wanted to get the screen open because the bulk's good trader. But the thing is, even if I kept playing, I know full well there would be moments now where we would have to stop. See here, like we've got mushroom timbers that are rotting, like can't be shown. But there would come a point where we'd have to stop. Something would break, and that would be it for the mod list. And we aren't going to be able to get to those parts that I really want, like the later stuff, like we're going out and building on factions and have like building our own faction, like with outposts and all that kind of thing. We're not going to be able to get to that. There's no way that I can keep the mod list going that long, as much as it pains me. At best, we would be able to probably keep the series going for a little while longer. But as I said, I'd rather have us finishing on a high point with the goblins than not being able to finish at all. And this feels to me, as the person that has made this series and what we've progressed and where we've gone, this feels like a natural stopping point for our story. Like we've got the next generation coming in. Our colony is... See, look, now our wealth has just absolutely just petered out, and they can't figure out why. From between that attack and this attack, it's just dipped massively. We've obviously eaten something or burnt something that is like high value, or gotten rid of something that's high value. Because now our value has dropped massively. But yeah, like we learnt so much. Like limited view and all these mods give me so much more plans for the future. Like I am definitely going to do another medieval series soon. Probably wait until 1.6 has got some more of the medieval mods updated. More of the medieval mods updated. But I have so many plans. The adding of spaceships gives a nice bit of complexity. Probably not going to do something like that for a while though, because those kind of things will be overly used by other modders and other Let's Play series. But like, yeah, I've had a lot of fun with this. I think 1.6 is going to add, especially stuff like flying, like the birds, the fishing, just the whole nuance of the game has changed so much more in 1.6. All the little things. If we just take out the ships, like the end game content that comes with Odyssey, like 1.6 just has so much depth to it. It has so much depth. Kid, lady, okay. Look. You need to sleep. You need to take care of that. But yeah, I mean, 1.6 is going to do a lot for the series. Like, from what I can do, just things I can take out, like, so many mods I relied upon I can just, like, cut out now from my mod list. But like I said, I want to leave the series on a high point, and this feels like a high point. This feels like we have become established and stabilized the tribe. And I just don't want to draw it out more than it has to, because we're never going to be able to do a lot of the late game stuff that I wanted to do. That's all pretty much done now, unfortunately. Because like, there's no way we can get to the end of a campaign like this with how the mod list is. So I think what we're going to do, and to leave it on a high note and leave it with our goblins thriving and the colony thriving, we are going to use a mod that I have never used before, which is, I believe, yeah, Declare Victory. And we can basically put that in, victory, the game is over. And we hit this button and the game ends on our terms. And I think that is a better ending than trying to drag it out beyond its life expectancy myself. Like, we have, before we go, let's just take in our goblins. Let's think about what they've done. We had Blue, yeah. Started off as just children, like young teenagers in a cave. They grew and they developed, fought owl bears and giant cave bats. Had children, come together, and they have really pulled through. And it's the same with Red. Like, all our first generation, out of our starting 5 goblins, yeah, some who did not make it along the way, some of those who died long ago. Yeah, like Green Ram, who died long ago. They have come far. They started off and like dragged themselves out of the little cave. We've been here just over a year, and in a span of a year, they've managed to set up a proper little tribe. They've got children and multiple generations of children, and a nice little place to call their own. They've managed to explore. They've travelled far from their humble little initial cave they started off in. Acquired mounts, acquired livestock. And their tale isn't over when we leave them. Like, their tale continues on into the mists of fate, whatever they continue to do. We won't be watching them anymore. Their adventures and their trials and tribulations will be their own, kept to their own. But I hope that someday we can follow a similar group of goblins, or whoever takes our mind to, as they set out into their own adventures. So with that, let us go. Let us go and step out of this series, out of this story. We shall fade into the maze, into the mists of the past, as days continue forwards into tomorrow. So, the game is over, as far as you're concerned. Current colonists: blue alligator, red falcon, red hare, red orange hedgehog, worm, hazel white, rain, bear, storm, rot, dawn, morning, night, grey, waterskins. It's better to conquer yourself than to win 1,000 battles. Then the victory is yours. It cannot be taken from you, not by any angels or by demons, heaven or hell. Quote from Buddha, in memory of Ram Malanga. And as sad as this is, I think this is a fitting ending. Not the ending we wanted, but a better ending than it could have potentially have been. And like I said, I've rambled through this episode a bit. Like, I found this hard to record, to be honest, but I just felt that this situation was coming. And I had concerns that we wouldn't be able to finish on my own terms, and we'd end up with like party, like halfway travelling across a world map or the like. And I didn't want that. So here we go, folks. I shall see you next time in whatever series we do. I'm going to take a little break from Rimworld for a little bit, just because I want mods to be basically brought up to date and me to experiment with a few things in the background. So we shall see how it goes. But I have taken this on board and I have learnt a lot. And I really look forward to where we go in 1.6 with Odyssey. I really hope, to be honest, that we get a lot of really cool medieval conversion mods for Odyssey. Make it less sort of like sci-fi, maybe make it steampunk. That would be awesome. But for those of you who have followed me up until this point, I look forward to seeing you on our next adventure. I've been Cornish-Knight. This has been Rimworld Medieval Underworld, and I shall see you again next time. Goodbye.